What's going on? Wrestling vs. Family. Welcome back to another epic breakdown on the channel that brings you the most in-depth wrestling analysis on YouTube. If you're new to the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because trust me, you don't want to miss a single upload. Today we're breaking down one of the most insane tag team matches we've seen in recent memory. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu going head-to-head against Bron Breakker and Bronson. This wasn't just a match, folks. This was a collision of titans. This was power versus power, dominance versus dominance, and let me tell you, the results were absolutely mind-blowing. So grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's dive deep into this incredible match that has the entire wrestling world buzzing. Let's start by talking about the sheer star power in this match. You've got Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the man who has dominated WWE for over 3 years as Universal Champion. The head of the table. The one who has conquered every single challenger put in front of him. Roman Reigns isn't just a wrestler, he's a phenomenon, he's a cultural icon in the world of sports entertainment. Then you've got Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf himself, making waves and proving why he's one of the most feared competitors in professional wrestling today. This man moves like someone half his size but hits like an absolute freight train. The agility, the power, the intensity, Jacob Fatu is the complete package, and teaming him with Roman Reigns. That's not just a tag team, that's a declaration of war. On the other side, you had Bron Breakker, the next generation powerhouse who carries the legendary Steiner bloodline on his shoulders. This young man has been tearing through everyone in his path with an intensity and ferocity that reminds us why his family name strikes fear into opponents. Breakker isn't here to play games, he's here to prove he's the future of this industry. And Bronson, Big Bronson, the 300-pound wrecking machine who has been absolutely demolishing the competition. Reed has been on a path of destruction, delivering tsunami after tsunami, leaving broken bodies in his wake. When these two powerhouses decided to team up, everyone knew we were in for something special. The build-up to this match was electric. The tension had been brewing for weeks. You had the bloodline asserting their dominance, making it clear that they run WWE. Meanwhile, Bron Breakker and Bronson had been vocal about the old guard needing to step aside for the new generation. The trash talk was incredible, the stare-downs were intense, and the anticipation was through the roof. Social media was absolutely on fire with fans debating who would come out on top. Would experience and legacy prevail, or would youth and hunger shock the world? The WWE universe was split right down the middle, and that's exactly the kind of unpredictability that makes professional wrestling so captivating. Now let's talk about the match itself, because this was pure chaos from the opening bell. The atmosphere in the arena was absolutely electric. You could feel the energy through the screen. The crowd was deafening, chanting for their favorites, and when all four men stood in the ring staring each other down, you could cut the tension with a knife. The match started with Roman Reigns and Bron Breakker, and let me tell you, these two went hard from the very beginning. Breakker came out aggressive, looking to prove himself against the tribal chief. He was throwing hands, using his amateur wrestling background, trying to take the fight to Roman. And credit where it's due, Breakker showed absolutely no fear. But Roman Reigns didn't become the tribal chief by backing down from anyone. He absorbed Breakker's offense, showing that ring IQ that only comes from years at the top level. Roman was picking his spots, working strategically, and when he connected with that Superman punch out of nowhere, the entire arena erupted. Then Jacob Fatu tagged in, and things went to another level entirely. The Samoan werewolf brought an entirely different energy to the match. We're talking about moonsaults from a man who has no business moving that way at his size. Fatu was flying around the ring, hitting devastating strikes, and showing exactly why he's considered one of the most dangerous men in wrestling today. Bronson tagged into match power with power, and the collision between these two was absolutely thunderous. These are two massive human beings throwing their entire bodies at each other with reckless abandon. The ring was shaking, the ropes were straining, and every impact sounded like a car crash. Reed hit Fatu with a massive clothesline that would have decapitated a normal man, but Fatu just shook it off and came back with even more intensity. The pace of this match was relentless. There were no slow spots, no rest holds, just four absolute athletes going at 100% from bell to bell. Breakker and Reed showed incredible teamwork for a relatively new pairing, cutting off the ring, making quick tags, using their size advantage to try and ground the Bloodline members. But here's where Roman Reigns showed why he's the tribal chief. His ring generalship was on full display. He was directing traffic, timing his tags perfectly, and when the match reached its critical moments, Roman was exactly where he needed to be. That's championship experience, that's veteran instinct, that's what separates good wrestlers from all-time greats. Jacob Fatu was absolutely outstanding throughout this entire contest. There was a sequence where he took on both Breakker and Reed simultaneously, and the crowd lost their minds. He hit a suicide dive that sent Bronson Reed crashing into the barricade, then immediately turned around and caught Breakker with a superkick that echoed throughout the arena. The man is an absolute specimen. The near falls in this match had everyone on the edge of their seats. Bron Breakker hit his devastating spear on Jacob Fatu, and we all thought it was over. The referee's hand was coming down for 3, but somehow, Fatu got his shoulder up. The look of disbelief on Breakker's face told the entire story. He threw everything he had at Fatu and it still wasn't enough. Bronson Reed climbed to the top rope, all 300 pounds of him, going for the tsunami on Roman Reigns. The crowd was holding their collective breath because if that move connects, it's lights out for anyone. But Roman moved at the last possible second, showing that veteran awareness, and Reed crashed and burned in spectacular fashion. The final sequence of this match was absolutely insane. All 4 men were in the ring, the referee had lost all control, and it was just pure pandemonium. Bodies were flying everywhere, signature moves were being hit left and right, and the energy in that building had reached a fever pitch. Roman Reigns set up for the spear, but Breakker saw it coming and countered. Reed came off the ropes with a massive splash, but Fatu pulled Roman out of the way at the last second. The teamwork, the timing, the chemistry between Roman and Jacob was absolutely flawless throughout this entire sequence. Then it happened. Jacob Fatu hit a picture-perfect moonsault on Bron Breakker, driving every ounce of his weight down on the young superstar. While the referee was distracted, Roman Reigns caught Bronson Reed with a devastating spear that could be heard in the cheap seats. Fatu made the cover on Breakker, the referee counted 1, 2, 3, and the Bloodline stood tall once again. The celebration after the match was something to behold. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu standing in the center of the ring, arms raised, acknowledging each other's contributions to the victory. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement. This was the Bloodline proving once again that they are the most dominant force in professional wrestling. Let's talk about what this victory means for everyone involved. For Roman Reigns, this was another notch on his already legendary belt. He showed that even when paired with newer talent, his leadership and experience make any team instantly credible. The tribal chief continues to prove that his reign at the top is far from over. For Jacob Fatu, this might be his biggest victory to date. Defeating 2 of WWE's top rising stars in Breakker and Reed is huge for his credibility. He proved he can hang with the absolute best, and his performance in this match will be talked about for a long time. The Samoan werewolf is officially a major player. For Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, despite the loss, they showed incredible heart and resilience. They pushed the Bloodline to their absolute limits. They proved they belong in main event level matches. Sometimes in wrestling, a competitive loss can be just as valuable as a victory, and both men came out of this match with their stock rising. The chemistry between Roman and Jacob was undeniable. You could see the mutual respect, the understanding of each other's styles, and the seamless way they worked together. This opens up so many possibilities for future storylines. Could we see them team up again? Could this be the beginning of an even stronger Bloodline faction? The possibilities are endless. From a technical standpoint, this match was masterfully worked. The psychology was perfect. You had the powerhouses going at it, the high-flying moments from Fatu, the technical prowess from Roman, and the raw intensity from Breakker. Every element combined to create a complete package that satisfied on every level. The crowd was invested from start to finish. That's the true measure of a great match. When the audience is hanging on every move, reacting to every near fall, and buzzing with energy throughout. This match delivered that in spades. The atmosphere was absolutely incredible. Social media absolutely exploded after this match. Wrestling fans from around the world were sharing clips, discussing the best moments, and debating what this means for everyone's future. The hashtags were trending, the forums were buzzing, and everyone had an opinion on this incredible contest. Many fans are calling this one of the best tag team matches of the year, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment. The combination of star power, athleticism, storytelling, and pure intensity made this a must-watch moment. This is the kind of match that reminds us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. Looking ahead, where does everyone go from here? Will we see a rematch? Will Breakker and Reed demand another opportunity to prove themselves? Will Roman and Jacob continue to team up, or was this a one-time alliance? These are the questions that keep us coming back week after week. The beauty of this match is that everyone involved has clear directions moving forward. The Bloodline's dominance continues, cementing their legacy. Breakker and Reed can build on this performance and continue their ascent. And the WWE Universe gets the high-quality wrestling content they deserve. One thing this match proved beyond any doubt: the current roster is absolutely stacked with talent. When you can put together a match of this caliber on what might be considered a regular show, it shows the incredible depth that WWE has right now. The future of professional wrestling is in excellent hands. Can we take a moment to appreciate the physical condition all four of these men are in? The athleticism on display was absolutely remarkable. These aren't just big guys throwing punches, these are elite athletes performing at the highest level of their craft. The training, the dedication, the sacrifice required to perform at this level is incredible. The storytelling throughout this match was top tier. Every move had purpose, every sequence built towards something bigger, and the pacing was absolutely perfect. This is what happens when you put talented performers in the ring and give them the time and freedom to tell a compelling story. The referee deserves credit too for letting this match breathe while maintaining enough control to keep things coherent. That's a difficult balance in a match with this much chaos and intensity, but it was handled perfectly throughout. This match also showcased the importance of tag team wrestling in modern WWE. Sometimes tag matches can feel like an afterthought, but when you stack the teams with legitimate main event talent and give them the spotlight they deserve, magic happens. This match was proof that tag team wrestling can be just as compelling as any singles competition. The post-match implications are fascinating to consider. Does this create tension between Breakker and Reed? Do they blame each other for the loss? Or does this loss make them even more determined and dangerous moving forward? These are the storyline threads that keep wrestling fans engaged between shows. For the Bloodline, this victory adds another chapter to their already legendary story. Every successful defense of their dominance, every victory against top competition, cements their place in WWE history. Years from now, fans will look back at the Bloodline's run as one of the most important periods in modern wrestling. Looking at this match from a business perspective, this is exactly the kind of content that draws viewers and creates buzz. This match gave fans everything they could want: star power, incredible action, dramatic near falls, and a satisfying conclusion that leaves room for future storytelling. That's the formula for success in professional wrestling. The athleticism from Jacob Fatu cannot be overstated enough. For a man of his size to move with such grace and agility while maintaining devastating power is incredibly rare. He's truly a once-in-a-generation talent, and performances like this one prove why he's so highly regarded by fans and fellow wrestlers alike. Roman Reigns continues to show why he's the tribal chief and one of the greatest of this generation. His presence elevates everyone around him, his timing is impeccable, and his ability to tell stories in the ring is second to none. He's operating at the peak of his powers right now. This is Wrestling Verse, and we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who was your MVP of this match? Do you want to see a rematch? What should happen next for all four of these incredible superstars? Let's get that conversation going in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, show some love by hitting that like button. Subscribe to Wrestling Verse if you haven't already, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss our content. Share this video with your wrestling friends and let's grow this community together. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video where we'll continue bringing you the best wrestling analysis on YouTube. Until next time, keep supporting great wrestling, and remember, we acknowledge the tribal chief. This has been Wrestling Verse, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace.